Welcome to my garden, 1 mile from the centre of Gloucester City. Here we have a varied selection of wildlife, as you shall soon see. A very welcome and frequent visitor to the garden is the blackbird. In spring his song is a delight to hear. Sometimes in winter we have had as many as 8 in the garden at one time. On a hot day the bird bath is put to good use. This young robin was my companion when I was doing some digging. Already he has developed the skills required to find a meal, and he has. Not many birds can claim to have had an opera written about him, but the magpie has that honour, thanks to the composer Rossini, who wrote the Thieving Magpie opera. Their song is far from being fit for an opera. It is a chacking sound, but their colourful sheen in the sunlight is most catching. This is a male greater spotted woodpecker. The red on the back of the neck confirms his point. These birds are well known for the drumming sound they make. Each year a new nest is made inside a tree trunk, usually one which is decaying. There are 3 types of woodpecker to be seen in the UK. All 3 have been in my garden. Jackdaws make occasional visits. They are related to crows and rooks, but are much smaller. It is not unusual for them to build their nests in chimneys. However, this one is much more interested in the fried toast. A collared dove, a bird common here in the UK and in Europe. In appearance, the sexes are similar. Soon a second one will appear, and they are normally together at all times. A very welcome sight. But then along came a hungry sparrowhawk. A kill was made, and that was the end of one of the birds. What a tragic finish to their partnership. This little bird looks like a sparrow, which it is not. It is a dunnock, a ground-feeding bird. Starlings are noisy and gregarious. They spend a lot of their time in flocks. They are still one of the most common birds to be found in the gardens. In winter, these numbers increase greatly with the arrival of incomers from Europe and Scandinavia. A very pleasant surprise for us was the visit of this attractive bird, the grey wagtail. It was the first time we had ever seen one in our garden. Their usual habitat is alongside fast-flowing streams, where, in short flight bursts over the water, it hunts for insects. They can be found throughout most of Europe. From time to time, rooks and crows take advantage of a bird bath and a feeding opportunity. Their usual habitat is the open countryside. Goldfinch are quite often seen. To attract them throughout the year, we supply them with Niger seed. In late summer and autumn, the teasels are a very popular food source. The great tit is a resident bird in the UK and welcome here. It nests in holes in trees or nest boxes. 7 to 9 eggs are laid in April-May time. Now to the blue tits. These small birds have the distinction of being the only European birds to have a blue crown. They also have a love of peanuts. After a meal, why not a family bathing session? This bird, a long-tailed tit, is also a resident bird in the UK and found throughout the country. Blackcaps were summer visitors, but with climate change, some now overwinter here in parts of the country. The female has a chestnut-coloured crown. They nest in hedges or brambles and produce up to 2 clutches of 4 to 6 eggs each year. They are known as the nightingale of the north because of their beautiful song. White doves have recently become part of our bird family. They visit us most days and are first to the bird tables every morning. They have become quite tame. They occupy an important part in many religions worldwide. They belong to the same bird family as the pigeon. There are 59 known species of butterfly in the UK. We have seen 11 here. This orange tip being just one of them caught on camera. The painted lady is feeding on the lavender. It is a migrant from North Africa, the Middle East and Southern Europe, a remarkable distance. Sometimes they arrive here in large numbers, which I have witnessed in Devon. It is unable to survive our winters. This holly blue butterfly is one of the smaller species to be found in southern England. It emerges early in spring. This species has 2 generations each year and feeds on holly and bramble. With its 2-inch wingspan, the speckled wood is a familiar sight from spring to late summer. Due to climate change, its numbers and distribution areas have increased. This butterfly has 2 names, hedgebound or gatekeeper, and is mainly seen in midsummer. The marjoram flowers are a favourite feeding place. The red admiral is yet another type increasing in numbers. Again, climate change is given as a possible reason. Most of them are now overwintering here instead of returning to Africa and Europe. A very welcome sight, and one of my favourites. There are numerous bee species here in the UK. They range from well-known honeybees to bumblebees and the solitary bee. Bees visit flowers to collect nectar and pollen, which they use as food for themselves and their larvae. By moving from flower to flower, they are vital pollinators to many gardens and wildflowers. This young slow worm is quite harmless. From time to time we find them in the warm compost. And although we have a pond, this frog decided to spend the day in the tub. But he couldn't escape and had to be rescued. Squirrels were introduced into the UK in the 1800s. They are considered to be a pest and transmit a pox virus which kills the red squirrel. We see many insects, such as this busy spider, making its web from silk. It is common for the web to be eaten daily to recoup the energy lost when it's a hot day in July and the ants are coming out from their nests. The queens and males then set off to set up a new group. When in the air, they fall victim to the birds, such as the swifts. a rare event to see this beautiful dragonfly resting. They are usually on the move and can also fly backwards and hover. I hope this film will encourage you to attract more wildlife into your garden. By starting with regular feeding and water, you will soon see an increase in wildlife for their benefit and yours.